Thank you, Mr. Biggs, and I'm going to piggyback on, I think you were going to make a comment, General, about replacement theory earlier, and you were out of time. Do you care to comment on that, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, Congressman Fry. I will tell you, as a first-generation American, I find it very insulting for people to assume or accuse people up here, including myself, of somehow advocating some theory. What I do know is someone that grew up speaking Serbo-Croatian as my first language. I think it wasn't until the 4th grade that I realized my name was Brnovich and not Brnovich or Brontosaurusvich or any other words that rhyme with that. And that's just what the teachers called me. And I will tell you, this is a nation founded upon the rule of law. And what we are seeing right now is that shredded in the process. As Americans, we don't have a common religion. We don't have a common ethnic identity. But we are founded on these sacred documents, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And that's what binds us together. And anytime you have a process that not only creates a threat to public safety, as we've seen with the gangs and cartels seizing operational control of our southern border, and that affects all of us. But we also see in this process of the president's failure and Secretary Mayorkas's failure to do their job, a shredding of the U.S. Constitution. So the very reason why people are coming here, because no matter who you are or where you come from, you can become an American. It is being shredded in the very process, and the rule of law is being undermined by the chaos that's occurring at our southern border.
You're right, and it's frustrating, General. I'm struck just being in this committee room today, quite frankly, that my colleagues on the other side seem to be suffering from a little bit of amnesia, because it wasn't long ago as a freshman that I sat down there in my first hearing, and the comment was made by the ranking member that Republicans were imagining a border crisis. And this wasn't like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. This was last year. And so the amnesia has struck, and now all of a sudden they're border hawks, and they want to have us accept a Senate deal, which doesn't seem to be a deal in any which way for the American people. You know, what's interesting to me is we have always had an effort by the feds under Republican and Democratic administrations to fix the issue, right? Even the former Secretary of Homeland Security under Obama said that if 1,000 migrants come in today, that's a crisis point. But they want us to accept in a deal that 5,000 and then they'll shut down the border. So let me ask you this. Considering that the federal government, General, is not doing its job, what remedies do states have to pursue fixes to this, because the burden is heaviest on those at the southern border?
Congressman, this is exactly why the reason I think states like Texas have done this very reluctantly. I mean, as you said, this has been going on for years, and for years the states were waiting for the federal government to do its job, and it refuses to do so. So I think it's incumbent on Congress to either impeach federal officials that are refusing to do their job, to cut off funding for those agencies, or alternatively, I mean, even during the Obama administration, during the Bush administration, you had Operation Streamline. I mean, the laws exist where if there was a surge, essentially, to our southern border, I wish we worried more about our southern border than the border between Russia and Ukraine. If there was a surge to our southern border with prosecutor and judges, once again, you would see a dramatic decline in the number of people illegally entering the country. So the answer to this question, it shouldn't be. The states shouldn't have to do the job, the federal government won't. The answer, though, is clearly that the Biden administration won't do its job. The states are frustrated, people are dying, there are expensive costs not only in human treasure but in real treasure, and that's why states like Texas are finally acting.
Correct, $1,100 per American citizen. That's an astronomical amount. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I think, gentlemen,